Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. This week, I want to talk about the one thing that will cause someone to see you differently, cause someone to be more attracted to you, for their interest level to go up, and to even possibly fall in love with you or fall in love with you even more. And I've alluded to it in previous podcasts and videos, and I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it. But yet it is one of the most important things that you can do if you're trying to win someone over. And that is to show them that you are able to see past their social mask. You're able to see the real them and you understand them. And if you're able to do this, it's going to be maybe the thing that will actually cause them to think, wow, this is the person for me. Because even if they're dating someone, let's say, and everything seems perfect, the person is beautiful, a lot of things in common, etc., but there's something missing, they won't know what's missing, and it's the fact that that person doesn't really see the real them, doesn't understand them. Whereas if you show them that you understand them, even if you're not necessarily their ideal person, you're going to suddenly become a lot more attractive, a lot more ideal, because it's, wow, like I know she's not really the type I usually go for, or he's not usually the type I go for, but wow, he really understands me, she really understands me. And I've got some great examples. I was watching the documentary, Diana in Her Own Words, and she said the first time she met Prince Charles when she was 16, he was dating her sister at the time, and so she met him, and instead of being, a giggly 16-year-old or going, oh my God, it's the prince, she showed a lot of maturity and understanding, because she said, well, I saw a photo of you when you were at the funeral of, and then she mentioned one of his relatives that had passed away. And she said, you looked so sad in that photo. I felt so bad for you. Wow. Like, what a thing to say. Because obviously he didn't want to look sad, and he probably didn't look sad, but she was able to see through to that. And then on top of that, she added the cherry on top by saying, I felt so bad for you. My heart went out to you. And she didn't need to say that, and she's a 16-year-old, and so she's showing, I can see through your mask, and I can see what you're really feeling. And of course, 2 years later, when she turned 18, who came looking for her? Prince Charles, and then of course we all know the rest of the story. So she was able to win over one of the most eligible bachelors in the world at that time. And there's also another example of the singer Burton Cummings, who used to be the lead singer of the Guess Who, a Canadian band, for those of you that don't know him. And before he was married in the 80s, he was doing a TV interview, and the interviewer said, do you have, are you in a relationship? Do you have relationships? And he goes, well, I have one-night relationships. Very cocky rock star answer. And the woman who ended up being his wife, she was watching this interview, and she said, he's lying. That's not true. He's lonely. Well, fast forward, she was actually working at the record company that he belonged to, and eventually they met, and wouldn't you know it, they ended up getting married, and they're still married many decades later. She was able to see through the facade, the mask, to the real him, and I'm sure she was able to communicate that when she met him. And he was a very eligible bachelor, very good looking at the time. Everyone wanted him, and he was in his 20s, or maybe early 30s by that time, and yet he chose to get married and settle down to this woman. And I don't doubt that one of the reasons was because she was able to see through to the real him. So keep this in mind if you're trying to win someone over, that they're looking for someone who really understands them. As I said, a lot of people don't mention this, maybe they think it's not important, but it's so attractive when someone understands you without you having to explain anything. And in order to be able to do this, you have to be really interested in the person. It helps if you're in touch with your intuition and you're observant and you're able to see and also communicate that you see that. And people will be surprised, like, wow, I don't have to play games with her or him. I can just be myself, because they already see through to the real me. Because at the end of the day, in a relationship, you have to be yourself. You can't keep the mask up forever. You're going to end up being yourself. So if you know right away you can just be yourself because this person already sees through to the real you, then that certainly takes a lot of pressure off. So if you have any questions or comments or are interested in private coaching, you can reach me at theartoflove.net. If you're listening to this on iTunes, please leave a review. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please subscribe. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.